Bantar Gebang is like diving headfirst into a dystopian fever dream. Picture just this mammoth mountain of trash looming over an army of workers, scouring and surviving on the cast-offs of a civilization.
Absolutely, utterly apocalyptic.
The scale is colossal. You can practically taste the grit in the air there.
Does he like it here?
Well, he can't say much about it, but this is the way he lives now, he said.
It's an entire ecosystem. It has communities and industries that are built around these endless hills of refuse. It is just raw, unfiltered humanity feeding off this strange lifeblood of people's garbage.
But here it is very, very much a reality.
And believe it or not, these scavenged plastics are directly responsible for building Jakarta's booming skyline. And in the most dystopian way possible. Entire towns here now seem like they're stuck in a war zone, with giant plumes of black smoke and everything covered in soot.
It's getting kind of crazy right now.
It's turning Jakarta's food supply toxic, sometimes in pretty unexpected and unintentional ways, but sometimes in ways that feel totally avoidable. And so to end this episode, I'll be sitting down for a meal of what I'm calling trash tofu. And honestly, the name kinda says it all. It might just be the most toxic meal in Asia.
This bloke's been kind enough to give me a hitch up the mountain. It's a hell of a ride otherwise. And again, just sort of like, I don't know, symbolic as to how big this mountain is. Above me I can see similar kind of operation, the cranes, and then behind me, the sort of shanty villages where people live who kind of survive on these mountains, trying to sneak past. Thanks for the ride. These guys are a bunch of pickers taking a break.
Yes.
Yes? Mm-hmm. Can I get your photo?
Every day, nearly 600 garbage trucks dump nearly 8,000 tons of waste here. And when we show up, it's a full-on traffic jam of trash haulers. They're all lined up, barely moving.
So as we get to the top of this kind of trashed mountain, working our way up, we're following this giant line of trucks.
We walk alongside them, and just like that, it's like we're in a whole different world. Cliffs of trash rise on either side of the road. Machines rumble and beep non-stop. And every surface, every color is wrapped in this layer of black sludge.
This is where most of the pickers are operating. Again, it seems so far they're after anything they can make money from. And man, this is one of the most post-apocalyptic scenes I've ever seen.
The pickers are everywhere, thousands of them swarming the drop site. They move fast, armed with these sharpened metal hooks and massive woven baskets on their backs. And they pull out anything of value quickly before the next load buries it. And then it happens. I step into what looks like a puddle, and suddenly I'm knee-deep in sludge.
It ain't pretty, guys, I'm telling you. I smell like absolute shit right now. That was like, I mean, you can see, that's waist deep. It is, it's kind of dangerous out here, I'm not gonna lie. So you can see like they put in like planks, and if you don't know where to step, you can go straight in, waist deep, just like I did. Okay, he said that I needed to wash myself down or else I'm gonna start getting itchy. There's just so much toxic crap in this liquid. I mean, I don't doubt it. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Bro, that ain't pretty.
Constructing a mountain of garbage takes more than just dumping trash and walking away. Roads must be etched into these slopes, guiding the trucks higher and higher. And at the dumping ground, the cycle begins. Trucks unload and pickers flood it, scavenging through fresh waste.
Each of these sites has hundreds and hundreds of these scavengers just working away. It is, I know I keep coming back to that word, post-apocalyptic, but honestly, this is surreal.
Above it all, the excavators move with this mechanical rhythm, shaping the shifting terrain into something resembling order. They must work in unison, passing the freshly dumped garbage up to the nearest peak of the mountain.
So I think when you guys are wearing those parlay shirts by Adidas, you've ever got those like recycled PET products, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of that comes out of this exact landfill.
They act together as a conveyor belt of sorts. And it's a mess, but a structured one. This oddly hypnotic dance of industry and survival. But there's one final step. The work isn't done until the peak is flattened completely down to make way for the next tier. And if I want to understand this place, there's only one thing to do. My goal is to climb to the summit. First though, it's time for a snack. Scattered throughout the mountains are these makeshift cafes. These little shanty spots serving up food and drinks for the thousands of workers that live here. And since this is ostensibly a food show, it's time to grab a quick bite before the climb.
You know guys, I'm always traveling to these really sketchy places nowadays, and dealing with money, it is a real problem. ATM fees, bad exchange rates, those like super dodgy tourist ATMs, card readers, you name it. And that is why I have come to absolutely love Revolut. Revolut's this all-in-one financial super app, and it makes international spending easy. Currency exchange, eSIMs, they've even got discounted airport lounge passes, and it's all in one place. They've got more than 50 million users worldwide. It's super quick to set up, plus you get $40 when you make your first purchase online. Pretty simple. I'm always bouncing between countries, and with Revolut, I can hold and exchange more than 30 different currencies at great rates and with really low fees. If I need cash, they have no fee ATM withdrawals within plan limits. No more getting ripped off at those like really shady exchange counters or those tourist ATMs. They have this metal card, which is really sleek, durable, perfect for travel, but the real game changer here is the security. If I misplace the card, I can just freeze it instantly within the app. And for those sketchy looking online purchases, Revolut even has these single-use virtual cards so I can keep my details completely safe. Finally, flight delays for me now are just no issue at all. Revolut gives me access to discounted lounge passes at more than 1,000 different airports, so I can just chill instead of fighting for a seat at the gate. If you're interested, check out Revolut using the link below or scan the QR code on screen, sign up, make your first purchase, and boom, $40 in your pocket. Okay, so apparently the food you can just kind of grab, and she's gonna make out of, I don't know, some kind of weird powdered cordial, a bit of ice, the go-to up here. It's holding these guys through the day, so maybe it'll get me through it as well. It seems to be the go-to up in this mountain. It's, I've got to admit, pretty good. They're saying it's sort of like flour, egg, onion. It's battered food. It's full of calories. I've got to be honest, it's what I need right now. It doesn't smell too good, but nothing does up here. And I mean, my hands were absolutely covered in trash just a couple of minutes ago. I kind of wanted to see what it's like for these guys up here. Their lifestyle, how they're getting by. And this is lunch for everybody up here, it seems. Wow, that is sweet. Like, sugar overload, obviously. I bet it's packed with caffeine. And I mean, it's long hours up here. These guys start from like 6, 7 a.m. as soon as the trucks start pulling in. And I think you just need to survive on oily calories and caffeine. That is really sweet. An incredible place, I tell you. I want to summit this mountain. Let's go.
Honestly, getting to the top doesn't take as long as you'd think. And up here, we see the final step in action, the flattening and compaction of the trash.
So this is the very top of this particular peak. You can see the bulldozers finally moving the trash up here. We have a ring of the pickers, just quickly getting to the freshest stuff. And often it's right at the top here at these peaks. And they can be the most dangerous because they are obviously at the most risk of collapse and of methane explosions.
At each peak where the chain of excavators ends, a bulldozer takes over. It waits as massive piles of waste dump in front of it and then rolls it over, pressing everything down in place.
Honestly, when these things roll past, they do not give you any warning. It's just kind of, it starts moving and you get out of the way, or you're kind of toast. That dude wasn't lying before, my feet are itchy as hell.
And just like with the excavators, the pickers are never far behind, trailing every move, looking for one last chance to grab something valuable.
No one seems to react to me, you know? Just some white guy rocks up with a camera on top of this giant mountain full of trash and everyone's just kind of cool with it. It's just another Tuesday for them.
Oh, so this is one of the trash picker.
How long has he done this for?
2019 saya di sini.
Since 2019, he said.
2019?
2019.
How old are you?
Berapa umur Mas kalau boleh tahu?
23.
23.
23?
Yeah.
What's life like here?
Gimana ya? Kalau menurut saya enak-enak aja sih.
The life here is pretty much easy for him. No school needed, no certificates needed, no need to have a good suits to work, so he just work and get money.
So you like this lifestyle?
Okay.
Yeah, he said okay.
In this landfill, scavengers routinely face extreme physical danger. Around 600 garbage trucks deliver nearly 8,000 tons of waste daily, meaning bulldozers and excavators are constantly moving mountains of trash. Causing frequent accidents, scavengers risk being crushed by heavy machinery or buried alive under collapsing heaps of garbage.
Does he like it here?
Well, he can't say much about it, but this is the way he lives now, he said.
How much money does he make a day?
Oh, so he said that per day he don't know, but per month maybe he can get like 1 million.
1 million rupees.
Avoiding machinery isn't enough. These scavengers must navigate waste loads with broken glass, rusty nails, metal shards, and used syringes. They cause frequent injuries. These wounds quickly escalate into tetanus, cellulitis, life-threatening sepsis.
What's the worst bit of the job?
He said that he often gets sick and he worried about his future actually.
The landfill here is filled with heavy metals like lead, mercury, cadmium from all that electronic waste, from batteries, plastics, and it just permeates into these pools of toxic sludge or leachate, and it pools up all over the mountain. It forms these rivers that run along the roads, one of which I was unlucky enough to fall right into. And let me tell you, you are instantly itchy all day. It's this constant, subtle burn of sorts. Scavengers suffer skin conditions because of it. They get scabies, chronic dermatitis, rashes, fungal infections. And then there's the air quality. Toxic smoke from spontaneous methane burning, which we're going to get to, and airborne contaminants such as mold spores and bacteria fill the air. Over 65% of landfill workers experience persistent coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath. It's a tough place to exist. We press even deeper, past the constant churn of drop-off sites, through the maze of shanty towns that cling to the edge of this towering landfill. And the deeper we go, the thinner the sense of order becomes.
Alright guys, so in the sort of the outskirts, the alleyways of the trash mountain is where everybody here lives. A lot of these pickers, they're from these sort of further out provinces, but They have these kind of shanty networks of houses where they're going to live, they're going to reside.
Where the last site had some kind of structure, some rules, some level of road safety and even security, this place feels different, raw, unchecked, the wild west of waste.
So our guide on this side of the mountain, I gotta be honest, I don't think he's really decked out for it in trash gear.
This is where the risk is just impossible to ignore. The pickers work in a constant state of urgency, heads down, scanning the waste for anything of value. But the highest reward comes with the highest risk, staying dangerously close to the excavators and the bulldozers. From inside the cab of the excavator, visibility is almost non-existent. It moves fast, swinging from side to side in this relentless rhythm, and with little time to react to any humans sitting in the many blind spots.
Things are way more lax on this side of the mountain. I mean, they basically hoisted me up on this thing. This is probably not the safest thing. This is the first time I've ever been on an excavator, and what a ride. I mean, you're right on the edge of this cliff. You can feel the mountain below you kind of shift as he gets the bucket load. Like right now I can feel the whole excavator reaching over as he's grabbing that bucket. Then he's going to swing it back around. Within seconds, you have no visibility around what is there. You could quite easily take the head off one of these pickers. I don't know how they see anything. Okay? Thanks, bro. Thanks for not killing me. Whenever I come to these places, man, it's sort of like a reminder, an eye-opener of what really matters. Because sure as fuck ain't money that makes you happy, I tell you that. How long have you lived here, Mana?
Udah lama tinggal di sini, berapa lama, Bu? A year.
1 year. And why did you move here?
Oh, because he wants to get her school, her kid's school, but he got no money. She got no money.
So here there's more money. There's enough money to send your kids to school?
Ibu. Oh, he said yeah.
So how much money are you able to make here?
Weekly, roughly, he can get like 500,000 rupiah.
What about the food? I see in this area there's a lot of food. They cook that up? What exactly happens?
So she said she will pick the one that's still consumable, and then she will prepare the cook for herself.
What's the hardest thing about living here for her?
She said that the hardest thing living here is actually the environment itself, right? She doesn't want to live here actually if she can, but she had no other way to, you know, get some money to get her kids go to school.
What does she hope for her kids and her life here?
She genuinely hopes that her kids can be a better person in life, so her kids doesn't have to live here like her.
Tough, huh? Alright. Okay. Thank you very much.
Makasih ya, Ibu. Yeah.
And one of the more dramatic dangers of Bantar Gebang are the methane explosions. They are deadly and they are very real. Huge pockets of methane gas form underground here as mountains of organic waste rot beneath the surface. They get trapped by those enormous layers of plastic, and then during dry season, these methane pockets, they ignite, setting off massive explosions, obviously dangerous in their own right, and they trigger these catastrophic landslides. These landslides trap scavengers, burying them alive under tons of waste. Just last year in October, a methane-triggered fire ripped through nearly 1/5 of this landfill, filling the skies of Jakarta with smoke. And so, there I was, on top of one of the world's largest trash mountains. And I'm thinking to myself, two things. Two primary questions came to mind. Just how far across Jakarta does the toxic health hazards of this mountain really stretch? And secondly, what the hell are all the scavengers collecting this plastic for anyway? What are they doing with it all? In Indonesia, lime is basically white gold. And nowhere is that clearer than in the booming metropolis of Jakarta. With over 10 million people in this rapidly developing city and another 20+ million in the outskirting area, the demand for building materials is through the roof. And that's where the lime industry steps in, taking raw limestone, calcium carbonate, and cooking it in kilns to create materials that are absolutely critical for everything from mortar to plasters to steel making, and notably these lightweight AAC blocks, which are kind of like the backbone of much of Indonesia's construction. And all around Jakarta, lime producers use these massive old school batch kilns where they literally just layer limestone and fuel and light it up and keep feeding it so that it burns at an incredible temperature for 2 days straight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 massive kilns. Only 2 are currently operational. These ones are getting cleaned out in front of me. And then again, just further on in the district, it's almost like an entire village that is operating exactly like this, just burning this trash.
And the wood that they would traditionally rely on is anything but cheap. You see where I'm going here, right? There is, of course, a seemingly endless mountain of dirt cheap, rubberized plastic trash, and you can burn it. Trash rolls in here by the truckload, and by the time I show up, there's already families sifting through piles of rejected laundry detergent. Because hey, why throw something out that might be perfectly usable?
And these guys have apparently just like a ton of used washing detergent. There's something about that kind of like metallic look on this plastic that is just jarring. Finding these ladies, these villagers here are going through all of it, finding the ones that are not empty so they can be reused. I mean, why not? Why burn it?
They keep these kilns burning with just huge bundles of plastic. Workers pile them up, shove them in using these long bamboo poles. And once it hits the heat, everything just erupts in flame. Each new load sends massive clouds of black smoke rolling into the skies.
This is coming in thick now. Oh my God. This is getting kind of crazy right now.
And after burning away for a few days, once the lime pile finally collapses into the kiln, it's time to haul it all out.
Alright, so here it is, guys. The final product. They're loading up everything from this pit, from this giant kiln that's been burning away for 2 days, loading it directly into this truck.
Literally 1 bucket at a time. It is slow and grueling work, but that's the process.
A couple of guys just loading the truck, and 2 miners below just digging away. They have these big arm sleeves on. They've got this one light just sort of lighting up the entire pit.
The lime is then bagged and hauled into trucks that will take it off for further processing into the AAC blocks. And at the tail end of this entire process, there's entire stretches of farmland that lie under this kind of thick, toxic coating of kiln dust.
You can just see these fields of of waste, just sludge. This is the very bottom of the kilns that it can't be used. It's not getting turned into bricks. It's just, I mean, it's probably some of the most toxic shit on earth.
And it turns out that much of the food in this area is affected by it. Studies sampling eggs from farms located near lime production areas revealed that they had dioxin concentrations around 3 to 4 times higher than the maximum safe level defined by national health guidelines. And sadly, plastic poison still manages to find all kinds of other ways into what people eat in Indonesia. And that brings me to what I'm calling trash tofu. It's kind of exactly what it sounds like, I think.
This morning, we're doing, it's sort of like stinky tofu, except you get the stink a different way. It's not fermented like the Taiwanese would do. It's a little bit more challenging than that. So this kind of giant water boiler here is being filled with this mix of wood and plastic. The plastic is almost like a fire starter of sorts, I suppose. It is probably also just cheap fuel. It's getting like loaded up under the bottom here. Whilst the fire is cooking up there, getting seriously hot with all that trash, we have started to kind of like unload these soybeans that have been soaking all night long.
The beans then get fed through this just giant grinder and broken down into milk. They're then moved over to this huge trash-powered boiler, and they're going to churn away, boiling away for a good 20 minutes or so.
That is wild. Just this huge amount of steam being pressed through these two tubes here, and that rumbling sound is kind of worrying. I'm a bit scared standing next to this thing. It's going to explode or something.
After the giant vat of boiled soy milk finishes cooking, they pour it into something like a huge cheesecloth.
Some kind of giant soy latte is being cooked up from that giant pile of trash.
Then two workers grab either side and slowly rock the whole thing back and forth. That swaying motion pushes the water out through the cloth, leaving the more solid curd behind.
I still love this, using the like centrifugal force. Is that correct? I'm not a science guy. But anyway, you get my idea. Kind of the momentum forces the milk out. Kind of genius.
But what's left in the vat is what we're after. That's the real prize. They skim off the top layer of froth, remove some water, and start transferring that tofu into the presses to shape it into blocks. They fold it neatly and then repeat the process over and over. By the end, you've got this hot, towering stack with water steaming and gushing from all sides.
We are completely racked up, and the water at this point is just gushing out of this thing. It is always amazing to me just how much more water there is left in this tofu. By the time you kind of think it's all gone, these presses, these racks, yeah, it's a waterworks.
Oh, that is cool as hell. After it's settled into the mold, the tofu goes into these cold water baths to firm it up.
Just gets floated for, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds as it moves along, so it can be passed from tray to tray to tray, remain kind of stick-free.
They then slice it down to a set template, the perfect size for a market block.
You guys think he's a Luka Doncic fan now? I bet he's pretty happy about it.
And then it needs to be colored. So we start crushing tamarind in this big mortar and pestle. The tangy pulp is going to become the key ingredient to give this tofu its yellow color.
So we are getting ready for the final step, which is firing up this giant tofu cooking cauldron with, you guessed it, serious amounts of plastic trash.
And we add loads of tamarind. The tofu blocks each get their own share of the tangy mash before they get lowered into the pot to simmer. And after a few minutes, they come out with this lovely gold yellow finish.
Despite everything, despite all that I've witnessed, this kind of work here is pretty impressive. These guys are doing detailed stuff, and while a little bit gnarly, actually looks really good.
But that's not all. They've also got this second mystery technique here, something I've just never seen before, where each mold is folded separately. They wrap each tofu portion in cheesecloth, then roll it up by hand at just lightning speed, and there's teams of these guys doing it. Interesting stuff. But back to the yellow, it's time to eat some trash tofu.
Now look, I've been told and informed by everybody here, trust me, that this is not the authentic way to eat tofu here in Indonesia. They don't just eat it raw straight like this. It's usually cooked. It's usually processed in some other way, shape or form. So people of Indonesia, please forgive me for eating trash tofu incorrectly. But what I'm after really is the most unadulterated, taste. I really want to try and get the essence of this, so I don't want to really confuse the flavors, if you understand me. When you smell this thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's an ever-present kind of background here of that kind of plasticky aroma, but this tofu itself, as far as I can tell, doesn't really smell that bad. So at least from the kind of aromatic side of things, I would say this is a lot easier to eat than maybe some of the more fermented Taiwanese tofus that I've recently come across. Obviously, the mental aspect goes the other way. And the health aspect, I'm not really sure either. Anyway, enough blabbering, let's go. So you get that. The smooth, tofu-y taste. The sides, the outside has kind of like skinned up just a little bit. There's a little bit of texture. That gooey middle, there is, I'm telling you, no aroma other than that. And so far, that's pretty good tofu, I'm not gonna lie. One final bite, guys. You know what, I don't even really get any of that turmeric-y flavor. I just get that kind of smooth, buttery, tofu-y flavor. I don't know, despite my misgivings, my questions about how healthy this might be for you in the long run, and this whole kind of like trash enterprise, I think on a day-to-day basis, there's probably a reason that this gets eaten. I don't think you can't tell. It's not like pug. It's not like stinky tofu. The tofu here itself tastes good. It's just the other kind of problems with the situation. All right, that's good. You know, like food and culture is always the connection, but honestly, the stuff that really excites me is otherworldly stuff. And I think there is no better word to describe this than completely and utterly otherworldly. This place is trippy.